Hello, I'm Matteo, the Chief Mobile Opinionist here at Tech Travel Geeks, and this is the Tech Travel Geeks setup video for the TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra GPS. So we've already unboxed this and had a quick rough review of the hardware, of how it feels, but now let's focus on a key part of the experience, which is the software. So I'm turning on the TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra GPS by long pressing the top button there, and that will switch the watch on. Now I'm going to be setting this up with my Google Pixel 6 Pro, and to do that I have two apps pre-installed on my phone. I've set them up previously. So I have the Wear OS app, which is Google's app for the Wear OS operating system, and the Mobvoi app. So as we go through the setup, first thing we have is to choose our language. I'm going to go with English United Kingdom. So once that happens, it looks as if it's gone to sleep, or it's just loading everything. There's a quick privacy statement here, which is quite long. If you want to, you can read through the Mobvoi privacy policy, the terms of service and cookies. If I say that I've read them, I'm happy with that. Actually, no, you need to go into it, scroll to the bottom. Wow, there's a lot of the terms of service. There we go. And now we're on the Google Wear OS setup screen on your phone. Download and open Wear OS by Google. So I'll do that now. So here's Wear OS by Google. Start setup. Agree. I agree. Now connect your watch. So it's already found on my phone the TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra. I'm going to tap on that. Is that the same code? Yes, in this case it is. So I've now connected the TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra GPS to my Pixel 6 Pro. And since the Pixel 6 Pro is now one of my main devices, this should do well in terms of the pairing. Pure Google phone with a Google Wear OS device, which is running on one of the latest platforms for smartphones, the Snapdragon 4100. So we're now getting the details from the watch to the Pixel 6 Pro. And I have to say, the screen is very, very nice. This is an AMOLED screen that you can see here, and it is very, very well detailed screen, in that it has a 454 by 454 AMOLED display, as well as that secondary display, which is an FSTN one. It's essentially a low power e-ink-like screen that is embedded above the AMOLED screen. So let's see what's happening. So I'm going to decide which accounts to sync here. I think all of them will do. So it's now loading the details to those Google accounts to the watch. So I'm going to have to authorize that with my fingerprint. And I'll just need to enter my password on my phone. Okay then, so I've entered my password and I'm now setting up access to all the key services for those Google accounts in here. So Wear OS by Google, allow notification access. So that's great. Your watch may use the location from your phone or the watch GPS if available. Yes, I'm okay with that. It's a key feature of the TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra GPS, is that GPS capability, which will ultimately be an enabler for a lot of the fitness apps, for running, for example. So here you have it. This is the FSTN screen. So the watch is all set. So this is the AMOLED screen. And now it's gone into FSTN mode. So let's go through the tutorial for Google Wear OS and see what that looks like. Start the tutorial. Swipe in each direction. So swipe up from the bottom. There we go. That tutorial didn't last long. And now you see that FSTN display. This is an always on one. Okay, so let's try again. For some reason that tutorial didn't work. So swipe in each direction. So notification, tap to expand, and then you can close the notification to clear all. Swipe in another direction, check again later. Okay, something's missing there. Swipe left to discover your tiles. So next, you need to register with Mobvoi. I'll skip that for now. Allow Tick Health to access sensor data? Yes. I think I'll skip this. Oh, this is a nice weather widget. This is actually very attractive. Touch and hold to change tiles. Okay, so there are a series of tiles here. Get rid of that one. I like that weather one. That Tick Health is good. Just tap down from the top. It's your usual Wear OS quick tiles, so quick settings. So I've obviously got notifications on, your vibration, the watch screen always on, and the do not disturb mode. And there's also a Google Pay button there. So I'll switch that on. We might need to set that up now. Let's see what the setup of Google Pay is like on the Mobvoi TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra GPS. I'm going to go with a pattern for screen lock. The setup is not the fastest, but it is quite a heavy one in terms of what's being transferred from my Google Pixel 6 Pro in terms of accounts, and in this case Google Pay configurations, to enable me to use this watch to, say, pay for groceries, or more importantly, public transport. So you can just tap to pay with your watch and it should work. I have a few two-factor authentication things here. Right, I need to add this manually from this. I'll have to set up Google Pay later because I don't want to show you my card details. Okay, so I think that's pretty simple. So for Google Pay on the watch, you need to have a pattern, and just like on Android, you can do that with your pattern. And then we have the Google Assistant on the watch, which is great to see. It's a key feature of not just Google Watches, but I think any smartphone, is to be able to have the Google Assistant there. So let's change the settings on the Google Assistant on the TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra GPS. Oh. It keeps on unlocking or locking. So if I press the top left button, the tutorial's telling me that we have apps available. So obviously we have Tick Health, Tick Sleep, Tick Oxygen, Tick Zen. Now, Tick Oxygen is probably down to the fact that it has a SpO2 sensor, so it has a blood oxygenization sensor in the watch that will be able to monitor your blood oxygen levels. This is not entirely dissimilar to what we saw on the Huawei Watch GT2. You also have the Play Store for apps that are optimized and the phone extensions. Spotify is supported as a music service as well as YouTube Music. And then you tap and hold to change your watch face. So if you want a more analog one, such as this one, you need to enable all the features that give access to the watch face, so it can have your step count, your heart rate, and other features on screen. So this is a nice analog one. Alright, so there is a system update downloading at the moment. Let's have a look at that in the Wear OS app. Oh, so it's currently downloading the system update through my watch. Okay, so the watches, updates have all been paused because I need to put it on charge to run those updates, which is fair enough. It is a very power-hungry process. So what I'll do is pop the watch on its proprietary charger, which is a double pogo pin one. And see if that allows the updates to continue. Okay then, so I'm back, and after a few days using the Mobvoi TicWatch Pro Ultra 3 GPS, I have to say it is a great smartwatch. And that setup process where I was required to do a Watch OS or a Wear OS, apologies, wrong one, a Wear OS 2 update came through, and then suddenly things were smooth, responsive, and everything was great. So just a quick recap of what I did. So on the smartwatch, I went through with the update. Once I did that, I then signed into the Wear OS app on my phone, and also signed into the Mobvoi app on my phone. So I'll just give you a quick overview of what that then gives you. So it gives you weekly goals for your fitness on the app itself, which are mirrored in the apps on the smartwatch. I also had to enable the continuous heart rate monitoring and SpO2 or blood oxygenation feature on the watch to then be able to get the data onto the apps. Now this syncs with Google Fit as well, so there is a slight duplication of functionality, but I have to say Mobvoi's apps are really, really good for that. And I'll go through that in our 2-week review once that's published. But just remember, you have 2 apps, Wear OS, which is the key one for synchronizing your phone and making sure it's connected. You also get to choose watch faces, so you get to choose from quite a selection, or third-party apps such as Facer, which will enable you to add whatever you find useful. There is also a separate watch face feature within the Mobvoi app, so you have both paid for and free watch faces in here. It's maybe worth having a quick browse to see if what you're looking for is there. But between a third-party app, which I got from the Play Store, Facer, the Wear OS app, and the Mobvoi app, you're spoilt for personalization choices. Having said that, I have just settled on what I think is the simplest, nicest watch face, which is just a simple analog watch face. In terms of apps, as I said, there's quite a few different TicWatch apps. But for example, sleep tracking works great. I've been using this for a few days, and in our 2-week review, we'll give you a bit more insight in what that looks like. It's not entirely dissimilar to other services from Fitbit, Huawei, Honor, and other brands, but it does work quite well. And you also have a few other built-in apps from TicWatch which give you particular features such as a voice memo. This is particularly useful because you can just tap on it, record your voice, and then use the transcription on your phone. So great little app there and very useful. As far as the operating system is concerned, this is in fact Wear OS 2. It's still the second major version of Wear OS. That means that we will be getting Wear OS 3 at some time in the near future, but as far as we're concerned at the moment, this is still Wear OS 2 based on Android 9. So there you have it. We're still waiting on an update. This is set to the 5th of October 2021. I'm expecting one soon. So, in terms of the tracking, another thing was, by default, the 24-hour heart rate monitor and oxygenization level of your blood, that monitoring was off. You have to enable that. So just be aware that's a key part of the setup if you want to use this for health and wellness tracking. And at the moment it's a bit early. I haven't had the chance to see that wellness monitoring affect your sort of mental wellness. This watch is supposed to be able to track your stress levels and warn you if you go over a certain level. But it's still early in the days. It needs to build my profile and then start feeding me that back. So in terms of the TicWatch, this is a great smartwatch in the first few days of use. It has lasted more than 3 days on its first charge. I'll need to see with everything on how that performs in the coming weeks. So be sure to be subscribed to the Tech Travel Geeks here on YouTube. As you can see, it's a lot more responsive and it doesn't lock as much when it's on your wrist, and it detects that you are wearing the watch, which is great. We'll be back with more on this watch in coming videos. But for now, thanks for watching and goodbye from me.